To begin, utilitarianism is a moral theory that suggests the right action is the one that produces the greatest overall happiness or well-being. It is a result-focused theory, meaning it cares more about the outcomes of action than the intention behind them. The idea was first developed by Jeremy Bentham and later refined by John Stuart Mill. Bentham famously stated that it is the greatest happiness of the greatest number that is the measure of right and wrong. Mill expanded the theory by arguing that not all pleasure are equal. Intellectual and moral pleasure are more valuable than physical ones. As summarized by Driver in the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, utilitarianism remains highly influential today because it promotes fairness and collective well-being.
Now, let's walk through how we can use utilitarianism to solve a real life problem. Imagine a company with 100 workers are going to face bankruptcy soon. Hence, they need to find an immediate solution for the matter. The company must decide whether to lay off 10 employees in order to cut costs and save 90 jobs, or to keep everyone employed for now but risk going bankrupt, which would result in all 100 employees losing their job.
Following the utilitarian process, the first step is to identify the problem, which is the company needs to decide between saving a few or risking losing everything. Next, we must list the stakeholders, which is the 10 employees who might be laid off, the 90 employees who would remain, the company owners, the customers who rely on the company, and the families of all the employees.
Starting off with option A, which is if the company chooses to lay off 10 employees to save the company and the remaining 90 employees, it comes with difficult but more sustainable consequences in the long term. In the short term, this decision causes significant hardship for the 10 individuals who lose their jobs. Their families may face financial difficulties, emotional distress, and uncertainty about the future. The layoffs can also lower morale among the remaining staff, who may feel survivor's guilt or fear that further job cuts would follow. However, despite the immediate pain, this option prioritizes the greater good by ensuring the survival of the company. By reducing operating costs and stabilizing finance, the business is more likely to weather economic challenges, avoid bankruptcy, and remain operational. This means that 90 employees and their families can maintain job security, income, and sense of stability. The retained workforce also ensures that the company can continue serving its customers, fulfilling contracts, and generating revenue. In the long term, the company may be able to rehire staff, expand operations, and even improve their working conditions. From a broader perspective, preserving 90 jobs helps sustain the local economy, maintain consumer spending, and support community well-being. However, if the company chooses option B, which is to keep all the employees, but risk the company going bankrupt, in which it would cause the 100 employees to lose their jobs, it may bring short-term happiness to everyone involved. Employees would retain their jobs, which preserve morale, reduce anxiety, and maintain a sense of loyalty within the organization. In the short run, operation will continue smoothly, and no one is immediately affected by layoffs or cutbacks. This decision comes with a high risk of long-term consequences. Maintaining a full workforce when the company's revenue cannot support it can rapidly deplete financial reserves. As the company edges closer to bankruptcy, the threat of a complete shutdown becomes more likely. If the business ultimately collapses, it would lead to all 100 employees losing their jobs at once. And this outcome is far more devastating than a controlled reduction in staff. Additionally, such collapse could damage relationships with investors, clients, and suppliers, and further accelerating the downfall. The effects would not be limited to the company alone. The economic impact on the surrounding community should be significant as well. A sudden loss of 100 jobs would not only strain the local job market, but also affect families and the businesses that rely on the income and services generated by the company. Local suppliers might lose a major client, consumer spending could drop, and social support system could become overwhelmed. Thus, while option B may appear compassionate in shorter terms, it poses a serious threat of long-term disaster for both the employees and the broader community.
We can visualize this decision as a balance cell. On one side, we have 10 unhappy people if layoff occur. On the other side, we have 90 people who remain employed and secure. Choosing this option, the result is greater happiness and less suffering in the heart of utilitarian thinking.
After predicting consequences, we weigh the overall happiness and suffering. Laying off 10 employees causes sadness, but overall it protects 90 employees and the company's future. Keeping everyone temporarily happy now could lead to far greater suffering later if the business fails. Therefore, using utilitarian reasoning, the better choice would be lay off the 10 employees to protect the majority. In conclusion, utilitarianism teaches us that ethics is not just about good intentions, but about real world results. It challenges us to think beyond our personal feelings and ask what action will produce the most good for the most people. Whether it's saving a company, allocating vaccines during a pandemic, or shaping public policies. Utilitarianism reminds us to put the well being for the greatest number first. Thank you for listening.